Since Repair Clinic encourages you to perform this repair safely, a warning icon will appear when you should use caution. Before you replace the throttle cable and wire assembly in your string trimmer, make sure the engine has cooled. We recommend performing this procedure with little or no fuel in the tank. Using a T20 Torx bit, unthread the 4 screws securing the throttle housing. Separate the 2 halves of the housing and remove the throttle trigger, spring, and the lockout lever. Release the switch wires from the grooves in the housing and disconnect the wires from the switch. Next, unthread the locking screw from the engine cover. Use a T25 Torx bit to loosen the clamp bolt, and you can pull the engine assembly off of the drive shaft. Depress the retaining tab to release the air filter cover, then remove the filter. Detach the throttle cable from the carburetor and the air filter housing. Disconnect the wires. Your next step is to remove the rubber grip from the drive shaft. This may require some effort. You can use a crescent wrench and mallet to help remove the grip. With the grip removed, you can slide out the old throttle cable and wire assembly. Install the new cable and wire assembly by positioning it in the rubber grip. Then slide the grip back onto the drive shaft, at least an inch past the locking screw hole. Connect the wire connectors and feed the throttle cable through the air filter housing and snap it into place. Connect the Z-end of the cable to the carburetor throttle lever. Reposition the air filter in the housing and replace the cover. Realign the engine assembly on the drive shaft. Thread the locking screw. With the locking screw in place, tighten the clamp bolt. Connect the wires to the on-off switch terminals. Secure the wires in the grooves in the throttle housing. Reposition the lower housing on the shaft and insert the throttle cable in the groove. You can use a clamp to hold the housing in place as you reinsert the throttle cable into the trigger. Realign the spring, then align the trigger so the end of the spring inserts into the hole in the trigger. Reposition the lockout lever. Then realign the two halves of the housing. Rethread the screws to hold the assembly together. Refill the fuel tank if necessary, and your string trimmer should be ready for use.